a Monday, and you know what that is. It is Wellness Day with Hirsch's and the wonderful girls from Connectable Life, Jess and Stacey, and they have just held a Wellness Day in Ballito that was so popular. Obviously, everyone was social distancing and masks, and there were a lot of masks up as well, just in case. But it was so well run, girls. Thank you so much for holding it. Would you like to just, before we get started, just say a little bit about it, because it was just so incredibly well put together. It was at Burndale.
Yes, yeah, thanks,
thank
Linda.
you.
Really appreciate it. We also absolutely loved it. Yeah, it just was a morning and an event that just spoke our hearts basically, and was so true to who we are as people, but also our aim as a business, just in, you know, touching lives and helping if and where we can, and raising awareness around mental health, and basically just allowing people the space to find themselves, be themselves, and love themselves, really. So it was really a lovely morning of just I think the most common comments were that people were able to actually just be. And we had lots of tears in the happy tears in the crowd, which was really, really great. We had self-talk coaches and discussions on boundaries and how we see the world, and just it was really motivational for me, even just being there myself. So yeah, Stacey, I don't know if you want to add anything, but thank you again to everybody that joined us. It was really great.
Exactly. And I see Virginie has sent us a message, and she was there, and it really was just the most phenomenal event. Honestly, I haven't been to one where I have gotten so much out, and I didn't expect that when we were the hosts, you know, but I just walked away with so much. And that was the feedback that I got, was that people were messaging for days afterwards, just saying it was exactly what people needed, and they were able to, like Jess said, just be, and it's okay to not be okay. But there was such joy in the event that there was you know, this incredible message of we've got to learn to love ourselves, and we need to stop apologizing for who we are and start living in our authentic selves. And that was, it was just so special. So thank you for everyone who came, and we will be hosting these more in the future. So if anyone online would like to hear more about it, we're only going to host once a year in a certain place. So yeah, we don't want to overdo it at the same time. We want people to be excited about it. But thank you so much, Glenda, for coming, and Shane, who's one of our hosts. Thanks so much for joining us.
The prize sponsors.
Wow, yes.
And V was also there in the comments talking about essential oil therapy and how essential oils can help you. So really, really great. And it was, for me, the perfect amount of people. In that we were able to speak to everyone there, and it felt personal and interactive, and yeah, I think that's enough.
It was absolutely brilliant. so well put together. And maybe the next one we'll have a Zumba instructor giving us a few minutes. That would be awesome. And,
would be amazing.
So that's why we're here today. And I just want to tell everyone who hasn't been on this show before that these two wonderful girls have been doing this with Hirsch's, usually with Margaret. Every single week we found a speaker that has helped to motivate people and get them up there, and you know, just being happy about starting off the week on a great note. So it's just wonderful. Thanks, girls, for giving up your time to do this with us. And today we have got one of my favorite things, Zumba. I've been doing Zumba myself for about 15 years. And I started actually doing it in Peru, because we lived in Peru for a while, and that was the most amazing thing. And doing it it was usually men that taught the classes there. And it was just such fun doing it. And everybody ranged in age from about 15 to about 80. I mean, it was incredible to watch these people. And you know, wherever you go in South America, there are people having parties and dancing. I think they have a different Saints Day just about every other day. And to celebrate the saints, they get out and dance. So South America taught me a lot. And one of the things they taught me was Zumba. So it's wonderful to have Tracy here. I've actually been doing Zumba with the gorgeous Chantal Nicholson here in Belito and she's on the chat. So good to see you, Chance. For the last 12 years. And I actually also became a Zumba instructor, but I've never really got around to instructing, apart from my kids who fall about laughing from time to time. So that's not my thing. I'm more of a pupil than an instructor, but Tracy is an instructor. She's an absolutely amazing instructor. She lives in Durban North, and she has been a Zumba instructor since 2012. She absolutely loves instructing classes. And the reason is simple. Every class feels like a party. And I absolutely concur with that. It really is like a party. And I do Zumba on a Monday afternoon, or Monday evening with Chantal, and it's honestly like a party. So you have a busy day at work, and then you go out and party at Zumba. So it's fantastic. And I just recommend it to absolutely everyone. And she teaches strong Zumba and Zumba in circuit. It's called Strong Nation Zumba. And she believes that cardio exercise is the only way to escape the pressures of the day as you immerse yourself in a world of laughing, sweating, and butt shaking. Come and join me, she says, in Chantal's class at FitPod. I guarantee you'll have a blast. And I 100% concur with that as well, that you will have a blast doing Zumba with Tracy and with Chantal. So Tracy, take it away. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. And yes, I absolutely believe in Zumba and the whole program. And I think every single person in South Africa, more specifically Durban, now than ever, like we have so much pressure on ourselves to meet targets. We all working a hustle, probably 2 or 3 jobs in some people's cases. And I absolutely, like, a healthy lifestyle has so many benefits. So that stress that you're going throughout every single day, you're releasing high levels of cortisol, and the only thing or way that you should be combating it is to actually go and do exercise. You let your hair down, you sweat it out, you really shouldn't have any inhibitions. And gym is all well and good, and I support people who go to gym, but there really is a special kind of escape when you go to a Zumba class. So yeah, it's one thing to go to a gym, and personally, I find you go there, you've got a bit of pressure on you, because if you're doing weights and it's not in a correct way, people are going to be thinking, oh, okay, like she's lifting it like that or whatever else. When you go to Zumba, I really want to make this clear. It is actually encouraged for you to be as ridiculous as possible. And one of the things that I say to ladies, especially with the twerking routines, we're going to get a tuck, and you are allowed to laugh at me. If you pack up laughing in the middle of a routine, that's all the more better. It just means that I've truly made you escape, forget about your worries of the day. And one of the most rewarding things that we can receive as instructors is when people come in with that thundercloud over their head, and you can see it's like seconds away from a bolt of lightning coming towards like the nearest person. And at the end of the class, you're leaving and you're smiling, and you go up to the instructor and you're like, oh my gosh, you turned my day around. So that is the most rewarding experience for me personally, and I know Chantal would agree. And when you're sweating and you're laughing and you're being ridiculous and you don't care about what anyone is thinking, that is the true escape from every single thing you are going throughout today. And I think a lot of people forget about that. They have that pressure, to go in and look perfect. You look the part, you go and you do your workout. And quite frankly, with a lot of people in the gym, I don't see you sweating. Like, I don't believe you've had a workout if you are walking out in the same state that you have walked in. So yeah, I really like, the more ridiculous the better, and just getting that affirmation that you've helped that person get through whatever it is. It's an escape, and it's the healthiest form of an escape ever that ever existed in the world. And yeah, I'm really passionate about it.
I have to agree, Trace. And you know, one of the things that gets me about people is they say, "Oh no, I don't really think I should go because people will laugh at me." But that is not the case, is it? Nobody's
No.
actually watching anybody else dancing because you're so busy watching the instructor and yourself in the mirror from time to time just to make sure that you have got those moves. You never see anyone else dancing, so other people can be doing all sorts of strange things. Nobody's noticing because they're having fun, you're having fun, and so it goes on. So, for anyone out there who says, "Oh no, I'd be too embarrassed to come along because, I can't really dance."
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. So most of the time, I think out of my entire career, my 3 prize moments that I actually had a girl who was completely deaf. And she was able to follow the class. And obviously that's up to the instructor because you've got your cueing and everything. And she came up afterwards and she said, what an incredible experience. And that's for someone who can't hear the music, but she was just picking up, on the energy. And then another woman that I had actually had a phobia of dancing. I'm not sure what the correct name is, but she said she came to class and she wanted to overcome her fear. She didn't even have her first dance at her wedding. Like it was that bad. And she said even she could recognize that she came to class and no one was looking at each other because you're so focused on the instructor. And something else I do, especially with the regulars, and if any of you are listening, you will know I do this. If I can see a regular is like looking away and getting so into the thing because they know what they think they know what they're supposed to be doing, I change it. Because then it kind of, as soon as you get too familiar with something, your thoughts go back to your shopping list and your to-do list of things that you walked in with. And the second the instructor changes it up, you've got to suddenly put your focus back and then you back to your escape. And yeah, I'm pretty sure Chantal does it as well. And I mean, my most terrifying thing is she actually gets people to sing along to the songs. And she gets me to do it, and I know she's laughing even though she's turned off her video, but you get really, really into it, and it just becomes this, you may as well be in a club with all your best friends. It's innocent fun.
It really is. And Trace, I know you were telling us that you do dance classes in some of the retirement villages up in Hillcrest, and I just want to say to everybody, do you know that the form of dance is one of the best ways to get your brain exercised? It really is, because you've actually got to remember the moves. I mean, yes, you can dance all over the place and, that's great. But when you actually have got to remember those moves, it sticks in your brain and it helps it to work. So not only are you getting a physical exercise, but you're getting brain exercise. And Trace, if you'd like to tell us a bit more about that as well, that would be awesome.
Absolutely. So in dance, we refer to it as muscle memory. And muscle memory is what happens when you'll do a routine a certain number of times, and then suddenly when you're in the shop, and it happens to everyone, you will hear the song come on, and whether you like it or not, your bum starts going along and you'll do like the little dance while you're shopping, and probably your kids or your husband or boyfriends, whoever, will look at you and say, please stop doing that before you've even realized it. So it is incredibly good for your brain health. So your oxygen levels increase. That's also going to increase your brain activity. It really is good for your power of recall, because all of a sudden you're going to hear that music and then you are going to know what steps go there without even thinking of it. There was a video of a retired ballerina. I think she was in her late 80s or early 90s, if I'm not mistaken. And she was battling to communicate and to talk. But then what happened when they played the music, she could remember all the steps, and in her wheelchair, she was actually starting to do all the routines. It was the most beautiful thing to see. And really for brain health, your muscle health, supporting your joints as well. It's so many benefits.
100%. And also what I wanted to say is that, you know, the dance classes that are held in Belito, obviously this is just one tiny place, but I think Zumba is held all over KZN. There's always a place that people can do. And how do they actually hook up with a different Zumba class? Is there a way that you can find out where Zumba is being taught
Absolutely.
from a group?
Yes. So the first thing that I really want to stress is that there's an instructor for every single person, and not every instructor is going to just gel with you. I know everyone would love that to be the general rule, but there's a reason. Like you will meet someone and you'll just click instantly and it will be like a duck to water. It happens with instructors. So I really want to stress this point. Don't put pressure on yourself to go to one instructor and then it doesn't work out. Try different instructors. You will find that one, like I drive very far to come to Chantel's classes, but it's because I know she works for me. And it is important, like even as being an instructor, to go to other people's classes. You're also going to be experiencing different styles. Zumba covers quite a range of a fusion of the Latin American dance styles. So you'll get your salsa, merengue, reggaeton, bachata. You get so many different styles, and one instructor may pick up more on a reggaeton, and then another one may be more merengue. So if that's not your thing, find the one that's the salsa. Like there's absolutely nothing stopping you. And then the way to find them is to go on Zumba.com, and it really is international. So let's say, for example, you're coming to your classes here, and then you go over to Spain and you're in a specific area. You literally go on Zumba.com, put in your city or your town where you're going to stay, and then it will bring up a list of every single instructor that you could go to. Obviously read reviews. You don't want to maybe pay like $100. I don't know what the fees are overseas, but you don't want to pay a high amount for someone who's just started. Like maybe read a review, see what other people are saying about the instructor before you go and make the mission. But it is very easy on Zumba.com. Very easy.
Super. And Jess and Stace, have you got any questions at all for Tracy?
I have one.
You go, Jess.
I just first want to say I love that you mentioned, you know, basically find the right fit for you. It might not be the first one. It doesn't mean Zumba isn't for you. It doesn't mean exercise isn't for you. Maybe just the sort of chemistry isn't right. Because I think it's a discussion we often have in terms of therapy as well, regardless of the form of therapy. It may not be the first counselor you see, the first dietitian you see, because, you know, we all come with our own backgrounds and things that may not click with the person we see. So shopping around is okay, and finding the right fit for you is okay. At least it means that you'll sort of continue with the journey, and then it will be a successful one. And then I also love the fact that you talk about like the muscle memory and that like brain sort of action that's happening, because if you scroll through like TikTok, you obviously see the same little dance routines, the same little jingles. I don't do them, but when I hear the jingle, I can almost see the dance replaying in my mind, even though I haven't necessarily learned it myself, but you can like see the people doing the whatever it is that goes on TikTok, which is so lovely. But Tracy, my question is, obviously different forms of exercise are good for different reasons. For example, if you want to lose fat, or you want to gain weight, or you want to, I don't know, whatever it is. So outside of the sort of brain benefits of Zumba, what are the like main health benefits? Like why should people do Zumba versus going to a gym or whatever it is?
So obviously any form of exercise is going to be fantastic for you. And much like finding the right instructor, it's also finding the right exercise. If you have injuries, any form of exercise can be, it can rehabilitate that injury or that joint, but within reason. Obviously, if you've gone to an expert and they say, don't do this, please don't do it. So again, with Zumba, you are going into a class, you are going to sweat, probably like you have never sweated before, because with all my years experience, you get to the end of the warm up and I've already got like I've got a very healthy glow that goes on. Yeah, how people don't sweat in a Zumba class, well done, because I think I broke my sweat glands years ago. But definitely, so you're going to go into a Zumba class. I get up to an 800 calorie burn in a Zumba class. So I do take a screenshot. I wear my chest strap. I'm obviously doing it through my medical aid, and it is going to be recorded as, you know, it's going to be an active day or a healthy day or vitality points. So you are going to get a calorie burn. You are going to get weight loss. And if you think about it, anything to do with cardio is going to burn your fat. It is going to help you with weight loss. It is going to help you tone. It is not going to make you bulk up, which I think a lot of people are under the misconception that as soon as you do a workout, you are going to get those big man muscles. Some people like that, but I do want to stress, unless you are taking your protein shakes and enhancers and whatever else, you are not going to grow past your natural physique. So let's just debunk that one. But definitely, like with the Zumba classes, you are going to get a good calorie burn, and you are going to blink and 30 minutes would have gone past. You are going to blink again and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's already the cool down. Granted, I think when a few people do my classes, they go, oh my gosh, not another squat, but it definitely, it happens.
It doesn't happen, honestly. You know, what you'll find with Zumba is that, you know, a lot of forms of exercise, like your state old aerobics and what have you, you actually look forward to the end of the class. You actually really don't with Zumba, because it's the different music genres. I mean, I love it, and Chantal will actually attest to this. The Enrique Iglesias songs, absolutely love it. Every time one comes on, I'm like, yes. It gets stuck in, and I know the moves so well now, I can actually virtually do them in my sleep. So, you know, you really, it's something, I promise you, everyone, you will not have a second of boredom in a Zumba class, not one.
Oh, that's so amazing. I'm glad you mentioned aerobics, Glenda, because I was wondering, what is the difference between aerobics and Zumba? I know Zumba's dance, but you actually learn these routines.
So with Zumba, I would say Zumba is more of a focused, I'm going to say it's a high cardio dance class. Aerobics, I would say, is about a halfway mark between Zumba and a HIIT class. So aerobics is, I don't find it as pretty. I'm gonna describe it that way, because in Zumba you get these beautiful like body rolls. You can do hair flicks. You really, like we've already said, the twerking. You're going to get a lot of hips. And you also get a bit of a show from the instructor. I think it could have even been Glenda that said it's like watching a show, or is one of the ladies in the class, is if when you are watching the instructor, I mean, some ladies will come in and they sit at the back just to watch the class. So I would describe it that way. I would definitely say Zumba is more of your, it's definitely more of a peacocking dance. So you are going to get more of a show. You feel sexier, and specifically in Cape Town and Joburg, you do get a lot of men coming to the classes, and they give it just as much stick as the woman. And it really is great to see. And I kind of wish that Durban would get away from that stereotype and encourage men to come to classes, because the creators of Zumba are actually men, and they're really big, buff gym guys. So yeah, it's quite an interesting thing, but that would be the main difference.
Oh, that's awesome, because I've only ever done aerobics in the past and I was pretty useless. I won't lie, my quads are not phenomenal. So I would love to try Zumba.
Yes.
No,
So
you'd love it, Stace. You would.
Yeah,
yeah,
I need to get in there.
I had some ballerinas that actually came to the class. I was renting a studio in Durban North, and yeah, they were doing their grading, and it was just the sweetest thing because, you know, ballerinas are very, I mean, their cores are ridiculous. And seeing them get the body waves and getting the hips and, you know, really loosening up towards the end of the class, they were doing hair flicks, and yeah, they were really getting into it with their body waves. It was a lot of fun.
And it's so lovely that, sorry, Glenda, jumping in there again. It's so lovely that you're talking about sweating, because we need to sweat. You know, sweat is the way our body detoxes. So it's wonderful if you're having that detoxing experience while getting to dance.
But on the
Yes.
sweating, Tracy, some people just don't sweat. You know, like some people are sweaters and some people aren't sweaters, and they can maybe do Zumba for an hour and they don't sweat.
No, I promise you, Jess, I'm not a sweater. I promise you, I'm not a sweater. But when I go to Zumba, I sweat. In fact, when my daughter lived with me years ago, and I used to come home from Zumba, she said, "Mama, what on earth do you do in those classes?" Because I was always dripping with sweat. I mean, probably not so much now, but I mean, you really do get a good workout.
Well, you've just sold it to me.
Oh, good.
The reason I asked, Linda, is I saw, funnily enough, somebody asked this question on Instagram recently that, you know, does the amount of sweat determine the worth of the workout, basically? So I guess that's my question, Tracy, is like, what would you say to that? Like, if you go to gym for an hour and you don't sweat, does it mean that you didn't work out hard enough? Or
so yeah, just to clarify, like when I say when people come into the gym and they're leaving it in the same state, so the reason why I actually wear the chest strap and not the watches is, remember, it's all got to do with your heart rate, the fluctuation in your heart rate. So Zumba and Strong is all based around, we call it the stop start. So if you think about your car, if you drive a far distance at a consistent speed, your fuel consumption is quite low. But if you're going to start your car, drive a short bit, stop, and then really accelerate, and then you're going to stop, your fat burn is going to be higher. So your fuel consumption is going to be higher. So with people who are sweaters, I promise you, don't have plans after class, please. And for those of you that are fortunate enough not to be a sweater, you are probably going to get to a stage where maybe your first 4 or 5 classes, because you're still learning all the routines, you're not going to be so bad. But it will get to a stage where you're going to go, oh, okay, I'm glowing. And then you're going to be like, oh my gosh, my roots of my hair is a little bit wet. You do eventually get up to that stage. I actually had a person that used to come to my classes 4 times a week, never sweated, ever. About a year later, she was like, oh my gosh, you broke me. So it does, it happens, it really does happen. And also keep in mind, we have Durban humidity. So we can all put on a brave face, but yeah, don't plan to do stuff after a Zumba class, please, because it's not going to be pretty.
Yeah, and there's usually aircon in the classes anyway, guys. So you'll
yes,
be
yeah.
Yeah.
But also I wanted to say, so could you tell us a little bit about Zumba Strong, about the Strong classes that you're talking about?
So like we've already discussed, Zumba is very dance it's focused, and I see Chantal said it's a glorified Shakira, like it's yeah. I see she's been putting in the comments. So what the Strong classes are, so Zumba is purely cardio, and it really is what you do to go and shake your butts and get everything going. Strong classes are HIIT classes. It's high intensity interval training. So that is going to include, and I know this is terrifying for everyone, it's going to include your push-ups, your burpees, your planks. It's yeah, it's really focused towards toning the muscles and the body. To get the benefits out of these programs, just try to work out twice a week. That's all you have to do. It's a really, really incredible program when you start including these two things. And then, yeah, for people who have never done a push-up in their life, there are base moves. I promise you, you don't have to come in and do a burst push-up. You'll just start off with a hold. And then you do smaller range of motion is what we call it. So instead of doing a full push-up, you'll just bend your elbow a little bit, and then you'll work it up in increments. And strong is the one that I've actually found, guys, if you are listening, you just get all kind of ridiculous. Like as soon as the men realize that, because it is based on martial arts, and you will see like elements of boxing and capoeira and all these other things. And as soon as the men see that click, they're the ones that actually push to the front of the class, and they try to, you know, be in the front rows. So it's quite a cool feeling. But yeah, definitely for ladies, I would say Zumba is the one you start off with, and then you kind of can, you know, explore all the other avenues.
Yeah, and on the other side, there's other side of the scale, there's Zumba Gold, which I know Chantal is absolutely brilliant. And yeah, so do you want to tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, so with your standard Zumba class, you will go in with no experience, and the instructor will be able to take you from the base moves and take you through the progressions where the different moves will become a little more intense, and you will really feel that workout the next day. Now with Zumba Gold, it is purely focused around having fun and dance. So it's not going to be as intense, and the tempo is maybe going to be a little bit slower, not always the case, but the moves are going to be a lot more gentler to your joints. So this is fantastic if you are going to be rehabilitating any muscles, if you have any injuries, if you're just wanting to get out of the house and do something that is, you know, also an escape, but it's still going to give you an effective workout. And it's still, I mean, you will giggle, definitely, especially with Chantal. You're gonna go there and you're going to have a blast. And yes, you will sing along to Enrique, and there will be Louis Fonsi and Daddy Yankee and all those guys. And I think we still got, we've got a lot of Shakira as well. So there's definitely going to be music on there that you're going to be like, this is my time.
Absolutely. Jess and Stace, any questions from you?
Yes, I've got one quickly, please. So Tracy, we've got a phenomenal functional medicine practitioner on our platform, and what she 9 out of 10 times sort of like prescribes is HIIT exercise. In terms of like sugar regulation, hormone balancing, all those sort of things. I don't know if you want to chat a little bit about that.
Sure. So specifically with HIIT, and honestly, I've been a Zumba instructor, like you say, from 2012. The strong classes, and this is why I'm going to Chantal, is because I love Zumba. But strong classes, those are my baby. So I was doing I was doing a stupid amount of classes per week. I was battling with my eating. I was trying every single eating plan that existed out there. And the second I would deviate from the eating plan, I would get the extra weight back. And it was driving me crazy. I went overseas to Europe, and I was on holiday. I was the only idiot that was going to gym while I was on holiday, and I was eating salads, and I just couldn't lose that extra bit. So this is why I'm speaking from experience. When you are stressed, because I work for myself, you do have to do the hustle. You've got to do what you have to get through the day. You've got to do what you have to get through the month. Those cortisol levels are very hard to fight. And I just found my body took to strong and HIIT training like the duck to water. So strong is made up of 4 quadrants. your fourth quadrant is focused solely on your core. And I just found regulating sugar levels. My sugars were 5 at one stage, and my cholesterol was 7. And when I started training, so I was doing 1 Zumba class a week. I'm not taking away from Zumba. And then I was doing 2 HIIT classes a week. And I went back for my fitness assessments at the beginning of this year. Both of my levels, without changing anything, eating 4 eggs a day, both of my levels were 2. And I hadn't fasted. I hadn't, throughout the day when you go for your fitness assessment, you're supposed to not eat anything before you go and blah, blah, blah. I'd actually done a full day of work, and I happened to message the bio, and I was like, listen, I need to come and do this. He was like, 4 o'clock today. I was like, oh my gosh, well, it's obviously going to be high. And he took my bloods, and he looked at me and he said, I don't get to say this very often, but you need to eat fat. And I was like, oh, okay, well, this is lovely. So it really does help, just because the level, I would actually say, because you're targeting your individual muscles so intensely over that period of time, your body converts all your bad cholesterol, it's converting all your sugars, and it's just forcing it to process and, be turned into a fat burning, please help my body before it expires on the spot kind of thing. So really, like, I will never take away from that. I only do Zumba and I only do strong. Those are the 2 things I do. Maybe I'll go for a walk on the promenade, but that's not for me. We're protecting our joys.
Yeah, I don't think people realize
awesome.
how important movement, just in any form, is for our overall health, just in terms of like even your gut health and those hormones and how it sort of ripples into everything else in your life. Sorry, Glenda, I think you were going to say something, but you were muted.
I'm sorry, guys. No, my dog's barking in the background. But so what I also want to say now, and this is so exciting, and I hope Shane's got this ready. Chantal has been a great influence at Hirsch's as well, because quite a few years ago, we used to have these dance competitions at Hirsch's just before the morning meeting, just before the AGM, sorry. We used to have everybody, all the different branches had to learn a dance, they had to put it together, and then at the AGM, they had to dance. And I was based at Hirsch Belita. I was running the PR show from there, and they were really battling. So I called in Chantal to help them dance, and at the end of the day, they won the competition. So they were very excited. But we went further than that, and during lockdown, at the beginning of lockdown, everybody was obviously very low at these meetings, and we started doing them nationally, and there was so much uncertainty around. And I was teaching Margaret yoga, and I thought, well, why don't we add in some Zumba as well? So I got her doing Zumba with me as well. I'd have a different dance every time, and mostly Enrique, I have to say. But we really, and there was a lot of 70s and 80s stuff going on there as well. I just made up my moves. And then along came Jerusalema. Well, I'll tell you what, I tried to teach Margaret, because there were some amazing Jerusalema video clips out there on YouTube and what have you. And so at the end of the day, I said, why don't we get the whole of Hirsch's doing Jerusalema? And, I think we should bring this sort of thing back again, because it just worked so well, and it just lifted everybody's spirits. The whole of Hirsch's had to learn how to do it. And here it is. I thought you'd just like to see it, because it was such fun.
Jerusalema, ikhaya lami, ilondoloze, uhambe nami, zungangishilana. Jerusalema, ikhaya lami. ilondoloze, uhambe nami, zungangishilana, dawo yami ayikholana, buso wami awukholana, ilondoloze, zuhambe nami, dawo yami ayikholana, buso wami awukholana, ilondoloze, zuhambe nami, ilondoloze, 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 zungangishilana, ilondoloze, 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 zungangishilana, dawo yami ayikholana, buso wami awukholana, ilondoloze, zuhambe nami, dawo yami ayikholana, buso wami awukholana, ilondoloze, zuhambe nami.
Oh, thanks, Shane.
Oh.
And that was the whole of Hirsch's, guys. That was every single person at Hirsch's had to learn the dance, and they absolutely loved it. I think it lifted the spirit so high, and it was thanks to dance. And I really think we should. So, Trace, why don't you get together with Shantz, and maybe we should start another one that goes viral. Okay?
Yes.
We could do
you
that.
should.
Watching that, it actually makes me think of the fact that, you know, dancing is a form of self-expression, it's a form of creativity, it's a form of fitness, but it's also a huge form of connection. And it's very often what actually brings people together. And again, I'm thinking of TikTok, I don't know why, but and when COVID first came around and we were all locked in our houses, that's what blew TikTok up, is everybody sharing in these shared dances. And all trying them out and sharing them and passing it on. And I remember at Connectable Life, we did a little one with all our family members and put a video together. And it gave us that sense of being together and connection, even though we were all, you know, forced to be apart. So what better way to get together and trick our happy hormones into happiness? Other than getting together and dancing. And yeah, I think the really hard part of exercise for a lot of people is we don't all enjoy exercise. Like, exercise is hard. And unless you genuinely enjoy it, chances are you aren't, even though you know the benefits and you feel great afterwards, chances are you're not going to get up and do it if you don't enjoy it. So I think if you can find something that really does bring that joy, and which is what dancing does, and then having an accountability partner to go with it, then it definitely sounds like a winning recipe, because I know that's my problem, is having that accountability.
Yeah, exactly. So you saying all of that, and how it brings connection and accountability. The whole time I've been thinking, so my middle child is homeschooled, and I was thinking, sure, him and I, we need to start Zumba together, because it's the connection, it's the exercise. Do you have any kids that come to your classes, Tracy?
So yeah, I did. So like I say, I just do classes with Chantel now. And I also want to add that I actually did homeschooling. And I did Stanline and Matric in 1 year, and it was way back when. And what my mother did is, because she knew I was going to be so isolated at such a young age, I mean, I was 16 when I matriculated. So to have a child and I was really shy, my mother was like, okay, well, she's at home all day, every day. She signed me up for every single dance class and activity that was in the area. And I must say, it was phenomenal, because now specifically for your son, now he's thrown in a situation where you're not going to be surrounded by one age group. And you've got to learn those etiquettes and, those social skills to be able to interact with people of all these different age groups. And also just to get out of the house. It was amazing. And coming back to that connectivity is, I have danced in quite a few places around the world. And one of the places that I've danced in is Dubai, and it was for belly dancing. I was a belly dance performer back in the day. And there was this girl from Morocco, and her name was Amal, and she couldn't speak the best English, but she knew that she liked me. She liked being around me, and she would always bring me sweets and everything. And the way that we actually connected and built our friendship, and I'm still friends with her to this day, is we danced together. So we were hired by the same places to go and do dancing, and we were just like sisters on the stage. And with every single dance style, because with Zumba, we also have to do Zumbathons, and we will do Zumbathons for orphanages, we will do it for the Cancer Association, all these different places. And when you go to the orphanages and even the schools, we'll do all the different standards. You go in there and you can see straight away some of the people can't speak English, and you can do your little, hi, I'm Tracy and I'm your instructor, and when I go like this, we're going to do this. But the second the music starts playing and they see me go like this to the side, and regardless of what language they speak, they know that's two to this side. And you just see people, it takes away that boundary of whatever culture and whatever language the people speak. And you just see everyone start moving as one. And that was my third point of one of the highlights of my entire dancing career. I'd been hired by a school to go in and do a Zumba, like a wellness week. And every single day was a different standard. And on the last day, it was in the middle of this huge indoor court. And on the last day, I would turn to the one side and I would get them doing the moves, and I would turn back to the other. And I was like, I'm so sure there's more people here. The whole school came on the last day, including the teachers. And there were just people dancing in this massive auditorium wherever I looked, and they were all following. It was such a phenomenal thing. So yeah, it really does get that that connection, and it just removes all those different barriers that used to exist there. It's truly phenomenal.
I mean, just the fact that one of your clients, sorry, Glenda.
Sorry, no, Jess, you go.
No, I'm just thinking of, again, the connection and the barriers to connection. And I mean, it really seems to be a form of connection that has no barriers, just by virtue of the fact that you mentioned one of your clients was deaf, and you think to yourself, well, I can't dance if I can't hear the music. But no, they danced anyway. So it really is just about deciding that, hey, I'm going to do it, and then going to do it.
And I think a huge thing that I've noticed, because I've been an instructor for so many years, is it's only your own inhibitions that stop you. So people in any form of dance, you will get the moves and you will be able to do it. But the second someone looks at you, like the instructor, because we've got to glance over the whole crowd. And the second someone looks at a person, I call it a speed wobble, because then they go and they freeze, and then they forget what they're supposed to be doing. But the second you can actually move past that, and you realize that, life is short. Don't take yourself seriously. Let your hair down. Like, just go for it. Everyone else is in the same boat. And after everything that we have been through here in Durban, like, you deserve it. Just go and have fun.
Exactly. Yeah. We need all the fun we can. And what a great way, like, I'm just thinking again with my son, like, what a great way to just build that relationship and connection and laugh with them while doing sport,
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And one of the best things, I think, for boys in particular, and this is just me being a bit philosophical right now, guys are so focused on like the rugby and the cricket and, you know, whatever else they do in school, that when it comes time for them to be 18 and go into a club, they short circuits. They don't know how to dance. And then you see them there, and then I think there's a lot of social pressure, because then they've got to learn how to dance, interact, be natural and cool all at the same time, when it's something that's so far removed from anything they've done before. Like, do your sons the favor and your boyfriends or whatever, and even if it's just the two of you at home as a couples therapy, oh my gosh, it's like the best thing.
Yeah, and I just want to quickly add in there, so Chantal's son Lucien, he's been homeschooled. He is one of the finest little dancers in Belita.
Yes.
Let me tell you something, he's absolutely amazing, Stace. I think you need to get hold of Chantal. And he actually, I think, has been giving lessons. He actually leads the class from time to time. He's been doing it since he was about 4, I think. He also is in love with fridges and stoves and things. So he's a great person to have Tertius.
Yeah, I'm sure. And
a brilliant little dancer. And maybe you should get hold of Shantz and Chantal. I think, Chantal, can you put your details in the chat box? Yeah, and maybe you guys can get together and he can show you some moves. But it's been such a wonderful, energetic, almost hour, and thank you so much. Trace, do you guys want to sum up? Do you want to just go? I just want to say myself that, you know, Monday is the best time to get up and dance, because it just sets the week. It just puts that happiness, just lets it flow through the week. And I think everybody needs to dance, even if it's, you know, get out of bed. In fact, the best thing is to get out of bed in the morning, and the first thing you do is put on your favorite tune or whatever tune and dance your way through the house, feed the dogs, put the rubbish out and dance. That's just my idea. So there we go.
And Glenda, I just want to add in Connectable Life's little video quickly.
Okay.
Oh, goodness.
That's Jace's husband, Sean.
Well, he's doing well.
With me. And that's my husband.
And see, he's a step away from really getting into it.
Yeah, those are my parents. That's Jace's sister-in-law. And this was all in the hard lockdown, so we needed each other.
We literally couldn't even step out our front doors at this stage.
Yeah.
So it was so lovely.
This is Jace's brother. This is my sister and her husband. So we got the whole family involved.
Amazing.
So it brings back all the feels, eh?
Yeah, exactly. This is our friend. Other friends. Oh, thank you.
Fantastic. Well done, guys. Good job. Okay. But I just want to say thank you so much, Tracy. Please put your details in the chat box. Sorry, I haven't got your website or anything, but yeah, if you'd like to do that, that would be awesome, because I know that there are people up your end that would love to connect with you. And Chantal is here she does her own thing. I think the best thing is to have a look at North Coast Zumba to get the details of what happens in Belito. But and as the girls said earlier, so www.zumba.com, and that will get you into all the different areas where Zumba is done. But I think everybody needs to dance. Everybody needs to, even if you don't think you've got a sense of rhythm, you will find it. I promise you, you really will find it. It's the most fantastic
Yeah,
form of exercise.
absolutely.
And Jess and Stace, what have we got next week?
Next week, we have got a physiotherapist talking all things physiotherapy. So that should be good. Yeah, but I think just to wrap up this morning, I think what's sort of coming to mind for me is that we need to make more decisions based on how we feel and what's good for us, rather than basing our decisions on what other people are going to think about us. Because I think 9 times out of 10, that is what stops us. And it sounds like such a lovely way to get fit. And to, you know, we've got to schedule in our fun and joy these days because life is so busy. So how wonderful that you can schedule in your joy, fun, happiness, and your workout
Exactly.
all at the same time. So thanks so much, Tracy, for being with us. And Glenda, it's been so lovely to share the time with you as well.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone. It was
Absolutely.
wonderful. Thanks so much, Trace. And we'll see you at Zumba.
Yes, and I just want to have a closing note, like a nice little tip and trick for going to classes during the week, because I know like some of the excuses I've had for people to not come to class is the wind is blowing too hard, or I've just had my hair done or something. So 2 things: try not to book any big appointments on a class day. Your class day is your day. You need it. Like, I don't care who you are and what you do, you need to exercise. And secondly, please pack your clothes in the morning so that they are in your car, so that you go to work and you don't have that option of going home and then having to get changed and then go out. Go straight from work to your class. Like, do it that way. And pay your instructor up front. They are taking times out of their day to go and do these classes. They are paying their hall hire. They are doing all the trainings to stay up to date and so that they can look after you. Treat your instructor well. They, especially when you find that correct one, they are like gold. Don't let go of them.
They really are. They're absolutely fantastic. And you and Chantal have been absolutely amazing. So thank you so much, girls. And I just want to say, for when you do it at night, if you're worried about getting too energized, it still makes you sleep. I mean, you sleep like a log doing some. It's incredible. So yeah, so it's good for, it ticks all the boxes. So guys, get out there and dance. That's all I'm saying.
Yes.
Just try it. Thanks everyone. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Tracy. Have a
To
lovely
everyone.
one.
Thank you,
Thank
Tracy.
you.
Linda.
Bye, everyone.
And thanks Shane for helping out.
Yeah,
putting it
thanks so
together.
much, Shane.
Yeah.